What's up, gamers? You ready for another episode of Heroes Charge? Let's see what we can do today. I think a while back, I was going through videos to see, what I've been forgetting to mention to people. And one thing I did forget to do on the episode where I talked about recommended heroes, I didn't really mention anything about equipment. And someone did bring up a while back that I should maybe go over what equipment people should focus on when crafting. So the way I do things is a little different. Whenever I start my day out, as far as doing stamina is concerned, the first thing that I do is I use my stamina towards getting equipment for my legendary heroes. So, for example, I'm currently working on Machinist. So, what I'll do is I'll find them, click on the item, and as I mentioned before, all new legendary heroes, the newer ones at least, there are actually two elite chapters where you can actually get their equipment. In the beginning, when legendary heroes first became a thing, you only could go to one area to get them. So now we have an option of two different areas, which I think is really convenient. So, and this one is in chapter 18, so I just do my raid for three, get the items, and then after that, I just go to the next one. I don't actually rebuy to keep going over and over. I honestly don't think it's necessary. I really don't. But I go to the other one that's needed, rate it, do the raid 3 button, and you're pretty much good to go. And off screen, I did go to the guild hall to give admiration to people, which is why my stamina was as high as it was at the time. So, after I do that, then I look at whoever I'm actually trying to push. So in this instinct, then I'm kind of going back and forth between either doing Hidden Needle next or Lightbringer. Because I've noticed in some scenarios I do kind of like Lightbringer in certain offensive and defensive situations. So I'm in kind of debating moving things around a bit. If so, basically, I don't just craft random items. I craft whatever item I need. Now, something that I do, and this is more for people who have heroes that are orange that need dragon shoes, mostly red, I believe, that need dragon shoes. And you want to get more dragon shoes reels. I'm not going to do it quite yet, but this is just an option. So click on the item, click on the one you need, which is dragon shoes. Of course, I don't really need it right now. I'm just assuming that I do as an example. I tap on the item, and then I actually tap on each chapter to see what other items they have. Because a lot of times you can get a twofer. So, for example, something that I've done quite often is for my Dragon Shoes reels, I usually go to chapter 18 Dark Rune and I farm my Dragon Shoes here because one, I mean, I can get it, and two, it gives me access to the Holy Cudgel, which is an item that I've found myself needing more often lately. So if you have another item for that hero that you need, and go through and see if you have an item that has two items that you need. And if you can find that, particular area, just farm the crap out of that area over and over. So, you can get what you're actually looking for and getting something you either need for that character soon or even immediately or for something for a different character that you might be doing. Like if you're the ones that like to try to, mess with two people at once, find an item or a chapter that has maybe two items that you might like so that you can get a twofer out of it. I'll go to a different one, like maybe I need some dragon relics, which I don't. Force of Gods, which I don't, and it'll tell you how many of those items you have in stock, so you'll know if you might need it or not. And this is just an example. This is a good way to farm and get more bang for your buck, as opposed to just randomly just picking one and rating it. Check to see if there are other items that you might need. Thankfully, in this scenario, I don't really need a lot of this stuff, but it's just an example. So at the moment, let's say I wanted to pump up Lightbringer to Red plus 2, which I actually kind of want to do that. Now, first and foremost, I can't get this item because it requires level 105, so I completely ignore this part. Yeah, taking the next one, I can get Orbiseers, so I could do that already. A Staff of Revenants, I can easily do that, plus make some more. Angel's Crystal, I have plenty of that. And the Dragon Shoes, I actually just recently got enough to make it, so if I wanted to, I can now push Lightbringer to Red plus 2. Not really a good example, so I'm actually going to go back to my other one, Hidden Needle. Alright, so if I wanted to make her where I wanted her to be, okay, here you go. So Holy Spirit, I would need to get uh, an antique halberd. But is there anything else I might need? So let's. Okay, looks like we have everything else. So I would basically click on antique halberd. This is the chapters that I have access to. Now I haven't completed every chapter yet. I've been kind of lazy, but so in this case, I would click on chapter 18 first to see if there's other items I might need. In this case, I could get another holy cudgel if I wanted to, scimitar which I don't need, and Kylan blood, which I used to call it Krillin blood because well, that's just weird and funny to me. But clearly I don't need it. So I go to the next one, chapter 19, Divine Turtle, and see there's other items I might need here. In this case, I can get haste daggers, which I only have one of. So if you find like a somewhat rare item that you don't seem to have enough of, and that you cannot craft many of on its own already, then you should definitely consider doing that one. So I'll get what I need here, plus get enough items to make this something whenever I need it. And if you want to see if you can actually create more instead of just looking at this and just assuming you need more, go to the item menu. So, for example, I'll show you. So, go all the way back to the main menu. On the right side, where the little button is where it shows your options on the bottom right, go to inventory. Go to your fragments. And I believe this is what makes Haste Dagger. So, as you can see, there's a check mark where Haste Dagger is. So I could actually craft it because I have a check mark there. That means I have enough extra materials to make it happen. So I go to craft and boom. So clearly I have enough to make a second one, which I'll go ahead and do now just to show you for those who don't know how to do this. You just craft it and boom, there you go. Um, you can also use those Almighty Soul Stones if you wanted to as well. I don't do it unless I absolutely need something that I just don't have enough of, and I'm in a hurry to, get it for someone. But now I have two haste daggers, so I've realized, well, maybe I don't need it. So I have to make a decision. Do I want to go for the one with the haste daggers, or do I want to go with the one with the other item, which I think was, well, I can just tap on this right here. Or I can go for more holy cudgels. So I have two of each item. And the other items in each list, I think, is negligible, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I don't need. Well, actually, I don't really have any staff for Rawless. But if I wanted to see if I can make them, I can find that item in my inventory. I mean, I can obviously get these, but I'm just doing this as an example. So you look up the Staff of Rawless, which I've already forgotten what it looks like, I'm not going to lie. I just know it's a purple item. Yeah, this can get a little weird if you're trying to go as deep as I am. Honestly, I didn't see it. I may have passed it, but I'm just looking right now, and I'm honestly not seeing it because. But basically, if you were to find it and you're able to craft it, then yeah, definitely go ahead and make it happen. Oh, there it is, Staff of Rawless. So yeah, I can actually craft this, and not only can I craft it, but I can craft multiples. So when you have the access to craft multiples, you can actually click on the max button, which will be 4 at this point, and boom, it'll go ahead and make all 4 for you. And it's not going to use your Almighty Soul Stones because the game's smart enough to realize that you're just trying to use what you already have. So now that I've realized that I've already made like 4 additional Staff of Rawless, that helps me to say, well, since I have a lot of this item now. Oh, wait. Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Right? Wait, which one has to? Oh, there it is. So now that I have four staff overalis, I realize I really don't need it that much. This one I have nine of. This is the item I'm trying to get, and I have two haste daggers. So this is looking like the one I'm gonna do, Divine Turtle. But let's check out the last stand one more time. See what we have here: two Holy Cudgels, five and three Kylan Blood. So basically, you're just making some decisions on what items you might need later or the most, and kind of go back and forth to craft whatever extras you have just to confirm that you actually do or do not have certain items, and then make a decision based on that. Now, I know that for certain heroes that I'm actually trying to push later, I'm going to need more haste daggers. So in this example, I'm going to go ahead and go to Divine Turtle, and I'm actually going to do the raid 10 button to force me to spend 50 gems to go up, and then I'm going to raid 11, and boom, get the items that I want as soon as it loads. There it goes. I kind of kept tapping the button, but I did get a temple to spawn, which I'll be sending invites to my friends soon, or my guildmates. And there you have it. Now, for those of you who have heroes, let's say in the gold ranks, let's see. Let's say I want to put Imperial Executioner to red, for example. Of course, click on gear, see what they need, and I mean, for me personally, I have what I need there. I have what I need here. Even though it says in stock zero, when you look in the right side where, the craft cost, clearly I have, enough of each item to make it. I've got plenty of that. Plenty of that. Now, this Ring of Spectre, this is something I used to craft for a lot with the dragon shoes. So if you're going to be crafting a lot of dragon shoes and you're out of this go to the area that has this. You can get this and dragon shoes at the same time. And of course, dragon shoes I could create. So I could actually make him what I wanted to. I'm trying to find someone that I might not have what I need. Just to kind of give you an idea. Okay, so I have enough for that. Okay, I can have enough for that. So, you know, I mean, I guess I'm a little over prepared here, which is why like I'm not really finding any good examples. Like I think I'd have to push somebody to another, red two to maybe use some of my items and then get you a better idea of what I might be missing. Um, but this works for lower levels too. So let's say you're someone that has people that's in the purple. Well, I do have a few people in purple. Um, oh, look at that. Moon glow I can't do because I'm missing an item, but let's click that missing item. Okay, so I can craft that. If I couldn't craft it, I would just tap on it, see what levels it comes in, which is a lot, and I would just click it. And then, this is the item I want. And if I needed more of this particular item, then I know that I should go ahead and craft those because I'll get multiples of those. So basically, it's just all about trying to get more bang for your buck. Just tap on each chapter, see what you have a less amount of, and you know that'll pretty much help you decide what you need to craft. Don't just craft anything. Look at each chapter. Try to get a two for out of it. It does wonders. It's just the reason I can't come up with good ideas right now is because I have a lot of items. Because I try to do my 800 stamina per day, sometimes it's 700 depending. Um, and so I usually am prepared for the most part. I'm trying to find someone that I'm actually trying to push that I might not have enough of, but apparently I'm more prepared than I thought. Oh, here's something. Angels fan. That's something I don't have much of these days. So, granted, I could make it, but assuming I can't, and assuming I didn't have any in stock, I could either go to Chapter 19's Fire Curse, which I have completed 3 stars recently, and then, oh, look, I can get more lightning swords. I only have one of those, and I know for sure that I can't craft it because I actually checked one time. I actually made one earlier. So I'd probably go for that one, but check out the other ones too. Termination of Storm would give me more Ring of Spectres if I needed it. This is the item that I want. Sapphire Staff I don't need, but honestly, crafting more Sapphire Staffs are not bad because that's actually a really good item to use when you're trying to get more resources in the Heroes Camp. And I will go over Heroes Camp real quick. Now that I'm already tapped on it, just to kind of do a segue here. if you're trying to go to the next level on Warhol, but you don't want to actually do the grind of constantly fighting and fighting and fighting to get equipment, what I would recommend doing first is right now my war protection is already on. My timer is at 7 hours and change. I always do the free win every time it comes up, just in case, because I do end up losing every now and then because my team is not actually good at all. I need to update it. I've just been too lazy to. But yeah, you want to do the war protection. If it says free, click free, and let it do its thing. And when you're near the 8 hour mark, and this is assuming that you're trying to push for the next level. So if I wanted to be level 6, I would need to get to a little over 800k in a lot of these items and 165k for the last. So what I would want to do is, start off by, getting my war protection started, which is already there. When about the 7 hour mark hits, just go ahead and buy another one, just to make sure that others don't like steal from you. Because I promise you that if you end up grinding and grinding a lot, people are going to be grinding you back and taking your stuff. Not just the ones you've taken from. I'm talking about other people will more or less take your stuff. So you want to make sure that your Warhol is always protected. Also, go to the furnace. When you go to the furnace, right now mine's at 0 because I just haven't been paying attention lately. But find an item that gives you about 800 of at least, one item, and try to craft as many of it as you can. Like right now, a lot of my stuff is like 10 or less. I try to find something I have that has a few hundred. Like this has 157. And look, I have an item. One of my items would be 815 per. So if I was to try to max it out, which I'm not going to max it out, it would be 123,000 of that item, which would be pretty cool. Or if I wanted to be more picky and find something else, I could look at, say, one of these. I have over 200 of it, so I might not have to use all of my resources to max out my output here. There you go. So it'll be 131, and when it's full, that means that your bar would go up to your max, and I would get the resources you see: 20,000 of one, 115k of one, and then 524 of the other. And you have to determine what's worth it to you. Now, personally, the item in the middle, I typically have more of that than anything else. So ideally, I would want the item on the left to be the highest number. So I will look to see if there's anything on the left item that has more than 800, that I have over 100 or two of. So this isn't a bad one. This item here gives me 760. I could probably settle for that. I might be able to get close to max. Yep, I can get almost about half, and it would give me about 82k of that item, 42k of the other, and then 545 of the other. You have to kind of mix and match to see, which would be the best for you. Just tap on each one. I try to tap on ones that I have 200 of, things like that, so that I'm getting more bang for my buck. Because the ones that you have only like 10 of, you might want to save in case you need to craft it for an equipment or something that might be needed. So be careful when you're doing this. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do this one here just because I want to get more of the item on the left. Disassemble. It tells you what you've gained. And now my forge here is at close to max, so I don't need to do any more crafting for now. And there you go. I'm up to 237,000 for the one on the left, over 400k for the middle, and then 74k for the one on the right. I don't remember the name of the item, so we're just kind of doing it that way. Now, when I mentioned the Warhol, when you're at 7 hours left, it's gonna make you spend gems to keep going. It's gonna be worth it. So if I want to buy, I would click buy. I'm not gonna do it, but I click buy. It might tell you how much you need. Say you want to do it, and then keep going until you're able to more or less get to the numbers you need. What you can also do while you're doing that is, if you have a lot of gold, like I have 74 million, so I could go to the marketplace. I can tap on gold, and this is if you've leveled it up enough, you can use gold. And then I would pick the item that I want to push, and then it'll tell you how much it would cost, which in this case is 375,000. And I can just keep tapping it to more or less get what I want. So I can just keep doing exchange over and over. Now, as you do this, keep in mind that the number that it's costing goes up. So it's not 300 some thousand each time. It goes up every time you do it until a max of 1 million. Now, I'm not going to keep doing this because honestly, this will deplete your funds really quick. And also, if you look on the top, it says you can redeem X amount of times per day. So I can only do this so many times per day, and then I would have to wait till tomorrow, which is why I would recommend constantly, once you're at each, 7 hour or 8 hour mark, refreshing this as far as your war protection is because you're going to have all of these resources and then everyone's going to take it from you. And that's not cool. So, this is kind of the expensive way of doing it if you don't feel like fighting and fighting and fighting to get this. Do the furnace, do the marketplace, and keep going until you can't go anymore. And then, do the war hall every 7 or 8 hours. Just try to keep up with it as much as you can, and you'll eventually get to the number you need. Or this is a good thing to do if you're trying to go to the academy and you're trying to put something together. So, for example, if I wanted, there's something like this, for example, I would need 800,000 of this particular item. So I could, do the same thing that I'm doing, grind with the thing I told you until I get that magical number, and then I can craft it. Now, since this costs 800K, instead of paying 800K to get an item, I would prefer to just pay the 800K to level this up. Because if I get this leveled up, then I can go back and then level the vault up so that it can hold more, and it'll be easier for me to get to the 800K. Level that up, level the furnace up so we can hold more, things like that. Am I gonna try to go for level 6? Maybe. Who knows? But kind of wanted to go over that, just to kind of give you guys an idea of what's going on. And I think what we'll do now is just go over a little bit of arena, because arena is the thing. People like seeing a little bit of action, not just me talking for like 20 minutes. So, um, I've noticed that in a lot of my fights, I've been barely losing because I've been making some bad choices, and I'm going to actually show you because you should learn from my mistakes. By the way, my team is so good that I actually beat an anime, One Piece. Anyway, enough of the bad jokes. So I actually lost to someone named Milad. So we'll go ahead and check it out. Just a few minutes ago. Now my opponent is using Turtle Fighter. I forgot the guy, the second guy. There's Evil Rabbit, who's a beast. Tarot Prophet and Chemist. Basically, they just Evil Rabbit more or less teleported my Vengeance Spirit to the front, which made her susceptible to dying pretty easily. About the only reason she didn't die sooner was mainly because Turtle Fighter was there to kind of distract him a bit. So for those needing an answer to Evil Rabbit, I don't think there's really an answer to him, but using Turtle Fighter helps, is what I'm going to tell you. Um, I tried, getting my Ninja Assassin to defeat their backline, but their chemist was kind of giving them kind of a mud stomping. It was a really awkward fight. And then of course my Ninja Assassin died to Turtle Fighter because of the shield. This is how good Turtle Fighter is. And then of course we're kind of going back and forth with what's left. My team is not doing actually as bad as I'm making it sound. I mean, it actually gets to the point where I believe it's like either a 1-on-1 or a 2-on-1 in my favor, but the timer ended up running out. But this is just one of those fights where if maybe I didn't run either the Depths Voice or didn't run Ninja Assassin, maybe this would have been a better fight for me. Like maybe I could have ran Sorceress or even Lightbringer just to kind of stall him for a little bit, with his ultimate, and that could have done something. But yeah, it ended up being like a 2-on-1 in the end in my favor, and but I just couldn't do the job or get the job done. And looking at that damage, the damage dealt was pretty good on everyone except Vengeance Spirit because she died so soon. Um, and honestly, even if I put someone else in Vengeance Spirit's place, whoever it was would have more than likely died because again they would have been pushed to the front, and that could have happened. But I think the person that Evil Rabbit puts to the front is random, so it's kind of an RNG thing. You really can't prepare for it. Something I could suggest might be using Lightbringer against Evil Rabbit as well, because if you're lucky enough, they'll teleport Lightbringer up there. they'll start dealing lots of damage. If he doesn't die too quick, he can ultimate and then stun him for a while. If he does die, he can just explode right in front of them, dealing more damage. So that could be a thing too. Um, there's another fight where I think against Tom Dog, where a similar thing happened, but I want to say this is the fight. It was one of those like last minute I didn't win kind of things. I've been kind of playing with different heroes off and on. Like there are some staples. Like I'm still running Turtle Fighter, still running Divine Knight, still running Puppet Master, Ninja Assassin, and Griffin. I've been kind of switching out off and on for other things depending on the matchup. But in this fight, I honestly thought I was going to win because I saw two healers and I was like, oh, I could do with Death Knight and Soul Hunter. No, easy. I got, Divine Knight. But unfortunately, they run three other heroes who deal tons of damage when Ninja Assassin didn't stand a chance. And look at that, Turtle Fighter and Puppet Master died at about the same time. I don't think this was the one that was a close fight. There was one that was actually a close fight, but this might not be it. Well, I guess we'll have to find out. Oh, okay, actually it was, because listen, there goes their, two of their people. Somehow we don't die to that ultimate. Freezing them kind of helps. The good thing about Griffin is that since he flies around a lot, he's not susceptible to a lot of other people's abilities, which is why Griffin's pretty good. Problem is, unfortunately, he didn't have enough to get the job done. His ultimate could not finish off Puppet Master, and I think Puppet Master actually kills him before time runs out, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a close one though. But yeah, he ultimates, finishes off Griffin, and boom, I'm done. So this is a really, really close fight. Um, like I said, I honestly think I should have won that, but unfortunately, um, his strats were just better than mine. His defensive team was better than my offensive team. Or I don't want to say that it was an RNG thing. I just think that I had the wrong team. Like Ninja Assassin just didn't do squat. So I mean, obviously, I should have used like maybe Lightbringer for some stunning and some potential damage. I could have used heck. I could even use Sorcerer, and that probably would have done something. Because even though he has a Rose Fencer, he wasn't running Turtle Fighter, so Rose Fencer might not have been able to reach Sorceress. So, there are just some things you got to think about when you're making these plays happen. So let's see if we can actually attack somebody. And I'm going to pick someone that I think I have a chance against. Because don't just go attacking any and everyone. I mean, there's a reason that certain people are higher ranks. See, on paper, seeing Chaplain, I'm like, oh, I can beat this because I have, Divine Knight. But the problem is Turtle Fighter is a problem. Their opposing Lightbringer is a problem. So Ninja Assassin's almost out of the question. Sorceress and Rose Fencer are also problems, which means I have to kind of really do some like thinking and rearranging. It's possible for me to beat this team, but I think it'd be a bit difficult. I think. Um, oh, this is kind of the same or a similar team that I was just fighting earlier. I think so. This is kind of like my chance to redeem myself, maybe because I see two healers. I should be able to win even with an opposing turtle fighter. So let's do it. So okay, how do we beat Soul Hunter, Death Knight, Lightbringer, Turtle Fighter, and Sorceress? So first and foremost, if you want to beat those guys, you see two backline heroes, so you want Puppet Master, so he could potentially take them both at the same time. Um, Knowing that they have Lightbringer, um, there's really not a real answer to Lightbringer. I mean, I could run Ninja Assassin just so I can crash into Lightbringer and maybe they can take each other out. Or I might be lucky enough and Ninja Assassin just not die. Plus, if I run my own opposing Turtle Fighter, maybe Turtle Fighter will deal Lightbringer some more damage too. Of course, with Puppet Master and Party, that's three people that's hitting the back line. Maybe I can destroy the back line. Of course, Divine Knight will probably be there to keep them from healing. As far as sorcerers, there's nothing I can do about sorcerers. I'm just gonna have, I mean, not sorcerers, but um, their turtle fighter. I'm just gonna have to hope that it's not a big enough factor. But let's see if we can beat it. All right, so we want our own turtle fighter to distract them. Ninja Assassin, Puppet Master. So I mean, we already got and then Divine Knight. So we already have more or less the core. The question though becomes, do I do Vengeance Spirit? I'm gonna say no because they have a turtle fighter. Some good ideas might be Sorceress, because she can do max damage to a lot of people, and you kind of want that. Griffin's not is an awkward choice because Turtle Fighter can kind of throw Griffin in the wrong direction at times, and you don't want people that depend are really dependent on direction. So I'm thinking Sorceress might be the answer here. Fallen Dominion's not bad against an opposing Turtle Fighter either, but I'm really trying to. If I can, I think that if I can kill their backline quick enough, I'll be all right. So let's see what happens. Now my power is a little over 70k, but the power for the most part doesn't matter. It's more about your strats. Just keep that in mind. Don't be intimidated that someone's power is higher, and don't underestimate someone whose power is lower. I just see that they have two healers, so I feel that I should be able to win this. I'm gonna slow it down a bit. If that's okay. So the problem here is that Turtle Fighter or my Divine Knights focused on their Turtle Fighter, so they're still getting their healing on the other side. So that is kind of a problem. Their Lightbringer is more or less got a stun now. Like this is kind of a point to where we're in dangerous territory here. Ninja Assassin has yet to go off, and Ninja Assassin didn't even have a chance to get started. Thankfully, I have Sorceress as a backup damage dealer, so it kind of worked out. I'm guessing. Looks like we actually might win this one. Yeah, because I just got rid of all their damage dealers. So it's just more or less dealing with the healers. Okay, so it looks like this is going to be a winner for us. It looked a little weird because, like I said, Ninja Assassin just didn't stand a chance, which is sad. Like, I have him maxed out, but, it just depends on the team and how it works out. Well, actually, it was their Lightbringer that actually stopped him from really doing anything. But we did win. Take a look at the stats. Ninja Assassin, unfortunately, was useless. But we still won with everybody else. Sorceress got in there with 156k, so did Divine Knight, which I think those totals are probably wrong because two heroes doing the exact same amount of damage. I don't know how likely that is, but I see that more often, so I don't know. I think that might be a glitch. Either way, Puppet Master did his part with 98k, and then Turtle Fighter more or less distracted, but he did do some damage too. So it worked out at the end of the day. And that's kind of what you have to do. You have to pick a team that looks like it's beatable. Think about it, because I did a lot of talking and thinking out loud. But this is how you get decent ranking. Now, of course, I will be losing some of this. Sometimes I actually can stay in the top 200 and get my rewards, but eventually someone will beat me and I'll lose the ranking again. But this is, you know, I think we're done pretty good as far as giving you guys some good info today. So I think that we might be able to cut this video off for today. If you guys come up with if you have any questions, any suggestions as far as what you'd like to know about, let me know. And if I don't know, I can talk to my fellow guildmates, and maybe they might know more because I don't know everything. You know what I mean? I learn as I play as well. I do apologize that when I did the hero selection video, that I did pick some hero choices that some people don't have access to. So I do apologize for that. If you want to know a couple of good mentions for people to try that are not hard to get, like if you don't have, some of the ones I mentioned on the video about the hero selection, easy heroes to get that are useful. I'm gonna see if I can find some real quick. Um, I think Lightbringer would be something to consider. I think you can farm him early, if I'm not mistaken. And it doesn't. I've already got him max, so it doesn't really. Yeah, you can get his soul stones in chapter 4 and chapter 5. So yeah, Lightbringer is a good hero to get early. He'll be really good for your backline. He's a hero that's easy to get. Trying to see who else. Cleric is pretty good once you get him the legendary. I don't know about anything beforehand. Commander is pretty good. She's easy to get too, if I'm not mistaken. You can get her in chapters 1, 3, and 8. So, and this is for the lower level people. I kind of want to help you guys out too. So, Librarian, Commander is really, really good because at lower levels, most of them aren't running Rose Fencer. If they are, I don't know how big of a deal it would be. Um, is Master Mage easy to get? I can't remember. I forgot. Oh yeah, get Master Mage. Actually, even if you're in the high levels, I think Master Mage is actually really good. Master Mage is the answer to Turtle Fighter in some instances. Um, or if there are just other, frontline heroes that's just a pain to deal with, Master Mage is the way to go. She's good for low and high level people. So Master Mage is a good honorable mention, and you can get her relatively easy for grinding. Let me see. Chaplain is good. I don't really mention her enough, but you can get her in chapter 2, 5, and 11. I always use her in Crusade. So I didn't really use her much in Adventure or Arena or anything, but she's not bad to have. So go ahead and, get her as well. Um, who else? I think Imperial Executioner, too. You can get him at chapter 1 and chapter 4. So yeah, if you're low level, Imperial Executioner is strong. Even at high levels, Imperial Execution is good. I don't see a lot of people running him, but I still think that Imperial Execution is good. He used to be my answer to Turtle Fighter when Turtle Fighter first dropped. So yeah, Imperial Executioner, yeah, go ahead and get it, make it happen. And I think that might be it as far as the easy ones to get, if I'm not mistaken. Everybody else here, Frost Mage. I was never a fan of her, but people use her. You can get her in chapter 1 and 7 and 10, so she might be a good honorable mention for those of you who are into her. She also has a legendary skill, so that'll help you against things like Clawwalker, Fallen Dominion, and stuff. So if you got Frost Mage, or I say Frost Mage is a good pick as well, for those, lower level and whatnot. Um, Let me see if there's anybody else that's a good honorable mention. Do not get Lightning Master or Sniper. Neither one of them are really that great. At least I don't think. Uh, I guess that's really it for the most part. I mean, there are other people you can get, but those are my recommendations. And if you've forgotten what they are, just rewind it and look at it again. Those are the heroes that you want to get early that I just mentioned, if you're low level, and even some that are high level. So, uh, there you go. Well, I'm going to go ahead and cut the video now. Hopefully, this was helpful to you guys, and you guys take it easy.